Hi Leo, here is a general look at your solar chart for November 2013, and there are two major players this month. One is a solar eclipse, which is happening in another fixed sign, Scorpio, and will influence the fixed signs most strongly. So that's your sign, but also Aquarius, Scorpio and Taurus. So this solar eclipse is also connecting with Saturn and Mercury and the north node of the moon, so it's a very significant one, and it does occur at the very root, the very foundation of your solar chart, Leo, so it's significant for you. And that does mean that change can be coming in here, decisions and then actions to make improvements related to the domestic setup, family relationships, the dynamics within family, community or neighborhood relationships, tribal relationships. So you may be turning the page altogether in this area here. Within you, this might mean a break with the past on some level. And there could be some hurdles to clear, and when aren't there? But with Saturn mixed in with this eclipse energy, there can be some hurdles to clear. Something might have been rumbling on for quite a while, in fact, but much can be achieved by minimizing the negative, accentuating the positive, and being very practical and step by step and consistent as you go forwards, and try to avoid emotional reactions or minimize connecting with somebody in a we might say a strop. Just be practical, as detached as you can be, and focus on the long view. So whatever that's about. And your mind could very much be revolving around paperwork, maybe connected with family matters or the domestic setup, extended family, tribal relationships, neighborhood relationships, and a space inside, outside, points on the map. And you could be mulling many things over. You could be harking back to the past a lot at this time here. And you could be considering history, whether it's your own personal history or all of our history. And whatever's going on, feelings tend to be nearer the surface, which can stir things up. Certain interchanges can stir things up. But you're likely to be busier in and around the home base anyway, because of a location or property, or from a location or property. And Mercury is a bit slow up until the 10th, because it's still going retrograde, but then goes direct from the 10th. So things start to sort of dovetail together more quickly after that. The eclipse energy allows for change in whichever area it occurs, and so that's the area that it will be occurring for you. Until the 5th, Venus's position means that you can express yourself in very creative or sort of light-hearted ways, or you could be having input from young people or romantic partners, or just partners, that kind of boost your spirits. Also, you could find that you've been making quite a favourable impression on certain people as well. You feel quite center stage, for good or ill. There can be admiring glances coming your way. Hopefully it's mostly for good, though. In fact, entirely. Okay, let's just stick with 99.999%. But in general, this energy links you to more to the sorts of pursuits that you enjoy, doing things that you get a lot out of, that make you feel good. And social connections can revolve around any of these areas, including romantic encounters as well. This is an area that you're very much at home with, because it's quite performance orientated, and your sign tends to like to take the big stage, and can think big, and can organize in a big way as well. So Venus is there up until the 5th, and then shifts into the following area, where she will be for many months. She will be in the following area from the 5th of November right through until the first week of March 2014. But before I mention what that might mean, the sun then moves on the 22nd into a new area, a new sector, and that sector there is very creative, very outgoing, very much chiming in with that of the previous position of Venus, letting you shine your light in your own unique way, maybe making you maybe a bit competitive, perhaps, more like in the mood to invest in certain things. Maybe it's emphasizing children, young people more, maybe it's emphasizing animals more, maybe it's simply emphasizing you getting out to venues where you can sort of party and kick up your heels and just enjoy. And some of you will be having more connection with the entertainments or leisure industry. Now back to Venus. Venus then goes in for this mega transit of Capricorn until March. This is a very practical area for you. It means that teamwork is very favorably highlighted. You and someone together can be very productive, get a lot done. And you'll tend to be in a cooperative frame of mind with this other and they with you, whether this is in a personal sense or a professional sense. There's likely to be a female there with practical help when you need it, or if it's not a female, it's someone with whom you feel close, you feel relaxed and close with this person. And this Venus transit could be good news for you health-wise, if that's been a bother to you, as long as you avoid overindulgence. But overall, Venus here can help the balance to come into health matters. Whether you've been overindulging, though, because of Epicureanism or in the pursuit of some ultimate control over your health, your diet, your outer image, which possibly you have been engaged in because of Pluto being in a very, very long transit in that sector of your chart. But Venus here will tend to sort of smooth off things and oil the wheels here. And you can, there's a tendency with Pluto here for such a long time to follow radical systems for perfect health and taking things to extremes, jumping the gun maybe even with something. So anyway, Venus coming in here is really, really good news. Socializing or a romantic liaison could happen with someone in the type of health-related environment or job-related environment, and could be connected to your work that you do every day. And moderation is in all things is what I would say, bearing in mind Pluto's tendency to extremes in this area. And Venus will help you to be more moderate and also find the equilibrium that you need with either health or matters of employment or just what you're doing every day, daily duties really. Now Mars is demanding that you put more decisive action into the matters to do with the piggy bank, and get more organized in material ways, to do with finances, but also to do with property matters, if that's what it's about for you. And you need a more decisive approach. You need to seize the day. You need to be more dynamic in that area there, but also be more proactive in recognizing and then applying your inborn gifts. So actually, there's an awful lot that I could say simply about that, because this region here where Mars is about your talents. It's about what you were born with, and everybody's got talent in some way or another. So you see with Mars here, Mars likes to make up its own mind and sort of get ahead of the rest, because Mars is a bit of a speed merchant. So, but if you can just sort of hold Mars back a little bit and watch your step related to basic material security, money matters, property, possessions, I mean, you might be ditching some things, you might be wanting to get your hands on others, you might be trying to organize possessions, you might be trying to manage things around property, you might be trying to work through what needs to be done in a physical, material, financial sense. But also you should be applying that skill and that attention to your inborn gifts, whatever they are. Now, because of the position of Jupiter until next July, you're growing very much something behind the scenes. It's an area that I call the chrysalis or the cocoon. So there's this developing butterfly within this chrysalis that used to be a caterpillar, a hairy caterpillar. So you could be developing something, beavering away at something behind the scenes, and great for imaginative work, great for inner therapeutic type work, and particularly doing projects which sort of plunge you into new areas and teach you lots of new things. But just to mention that this area can be where you're your own worst enemy with emotional knee-jerk responses. So don't shoot yourself in the foot and have to learn your lessons that way. Jupiter is a teaching planet. So even though it's not as blunt and harsh as Saturn is, which is also a teaching planet, it's up to you to choose, and it's up to you to make the most of this area in a comfortable way, or maybe in a less comfortable way. And you, Leo, is born 5th to the 11th of August, or with 13 to 19 degrees Leo rising, going to feel the energy the most this month. Saturn. Now Saturn, I sort of touched on Saturn before when I was speaking about the eclipse. Saturn is at the very root of your chart, and it just means that in the long transit of Saturn, due to finish, it's been there for a year already, due to finish just into at the end of 2014 into 2015 properly, means that you just got to work harder at those family connections, neighborhood relationships, to do with property matters. You might feel a scarcity and a lack to do with those things there. Family relationships, property, place on the map, neighborhood. And now you need to give that your serious attention. You need to make the decisions and follow that up with action, particularly to do with this eclipse. And being mindful of the past, because that's just going to come into your consciousness, really, I think, just now. But you could be feeling that this, the limitations or what you've been tolerating is going to make you reach for, it's time for me to reach for something better in your life. And you, Leo, is born between the 29th of July and the 3rd of August, or with 6 to 11 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And just a quick mention of the current positions of Saturn, Neptune and Jupiter, matters related to family, place on the map, property, unfinished business from the past. This is what you're about. You're tying up those loose ends, and you are hoping that you can handle things in a sensitive and insightful manner. Some of you may be relating more to parents at this stage in your life as well. And slowly, the abstract ideal, or maybe the illusion, the veil will lift, and you will be creating gradually a new form will be creating itself. I don't want to put the responsibility for that totally on your shoulders, Leo, but of course you have to cooperate there with that energy, and finding sort of new routes maybe, or new connections which weren't there in the past, but also there can be a complete change and a new chapter related to those areas, and you could benefit by pursuing a more spiritual, nurturing or imaginative activities behind the scenes. And that's it for November. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. It'll give you some different ideas and sort of maybe a rounded view of what I've said here. and also have a look if you want to look up what part of your sign the outer planets are aspecting this month on my website. And I'll see you the next time.